Hey guys, so in today's video is going to be, it's going to be a little bit different to the previous ones that I've done. So in my previous videos have been just recordings of my streaming. So I did one initially talking about the character builds for the two rangers that you create at the start of the game, and then after that it's just been my streaming sessions as we've progressed. I'm taking a short break from streaming today just to talk through the actual character builds for all 6 of my party members at the moment in a little bit more depth than I would go into while streaming. I appreciate some people looking for character builds, looking for party builds specifically for the Supreme Jerk mode, and the only way you're going to really see where I've put my stat points and everything is watching the entire stream, which obviously some people don't want to do. So we'll start off with my the first character I created, so my leader character. As you can see, he's wielding a shotgun here. In terms of the stat points, the luck, the awareness, the speed, the intelligence, they haven't changed. They're exactly as they were set when I started the game. Strength was, I can't remember if it was 1 or 2, and I have increased that a little bit since I started. Coordination I've maxed out because you get the increased action points. The status effect resistance is nice as well, but it's mainly for the action points. And charisma will be maxed out as well. So my next level up, which will happen in another 900 XP, I will max out the charisma then. One of the nice things is it does give me an experience bonus there as well, so towards the end of the game I would expect to see this character probably a couple of levels above some of the others. Not above my sniper because she is also my lockpicker and my explosives expert. She gets a lot of XP outside of combat from dealing with those. So going back to the party leader, in terms of the quirk, when I created him, I went with Serial Killer. So again, +3 AP for each kill in combat, and that can apply once per turn. It does reduce his action points by 1, but we've got plenty extra because of the coordination skill up here anyway, so that's not a problem. In terms of background, I went with Sex Machine because it increases his combat speed by +0.2. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it means he can run a little bit further than the other characters. With him being a shotgun user anyway, he needs that. He can get into better positions, get closer to enemies, so you know that helps him with that. In terms of his skills, this is how it looks so far. Now we're not going to be able to max out all of these skills, I wouldn't have thought. I'm not going to try. The hard ass skill, I think I've only actually put a couple of points into that. The others have got to come from like the inventory thing we've got here, hard ass +1 there. The main thing we're looking for with this character are these top 3. Mechanics, small arms, leadership. We've got a bit in first aid as well, which is useful. I haven't really increased it past 4. I don't know if I get something else later on in the game that will need a higher first aid skill, but as it stands he can use all the first aid equipment that I've needed to use. Leadership will be increasing as we progress. As you can see, it increases the hit chance from nearby allies anyway by +10% when it's maxed, and it also gives us bonuses if I kill a boss character, if I multi-kill, or even if I revive one of my characters. Small arms, self-explanatory. As you increase it, you get extra hit chance, and more importantly, it means you can use better weapons and you get various perks, which we'll look at shortly. Mechanics is a big one. Not only does it do extra damage against robots, vehicles and synths, it also means we can fix generators and machines, which is really useful, and means we can repair any robots, turrets, things like that we put down, as well as the Kodiak. But it also means we can use some of the like gun turrets, machine turrets for example, these decoys, the pocket soap up, things like that, which can be really useful. Not only to do damage to our enemies, but also to take attention away from us, basically away from our team, especially the decoy. So that's really useful, is that one. In terms of the perks, this is what I've got so far. I went with Deep Pockets for that extra quick slot, and with him being a mechanic and first aider, it's useful for him to have sort of one quick slot, or potentially two for the first aid stuff, and then still another one free from mechanics. Went with the Shredder Shot from the Small Arms tree. Fires a shotgun shell that inflicts bleeding on anyone hit, deals plus 100% damage against targets with armor damage. I haven't used it that much at the moment, but to be honest with you, my shotgun character hasn't had a particularly good shotgun until very recently, so I would expect to see him doing more of the killing now. I did focus on the mechanic skill initially so that I could unlock things in the areas that I've been in. Then we've got Clear Cover. Shotguns do 100% damage, plus 100% damage versus cover. Again, useful. You know, the shotgun guy's going to go in. He's going to hopefully hit a few people. Destroy cover means that the other characters have got better shot and will hopefully do more damage when they hit. In terms of leadership, I've taken the Rally ability, which provides a plus 2 AP bonus to allies in a radius around you. And mechanics, I've taken the Handy ability. So our deployables gain plus 25% constitution or health and deal plus 25% damage. I'm using a lot of the deployables and I've just bought a load, which is why I've got no money now. So yeah, that's a useful skill. I'm probably not going to bother with the other ones in this tree, just because I tend not to repair them that often, because your deployables get destroyed at the end of combat anyway. Rather than spending AP repairing them, I generally just spend that AP shooting someone to get the combat over with. And I'm partway through the game at the moment. I've just finished off everything, well, almost everything in the bazaar, and this is how my character's looking right now. So I'm wearing tactical armour, the full set there. I've got the Veterans Ranger Star, which you get in the prologue. I'm still using that at the moment for the extra hard ass. I have modded the armour. Have a look here, just to give it a little bit more survivability, and the striker shotgun, which I've recently got. Yeah, just does a lot more damage than the previous one I had, so that's how he's kitted out at the moment. So we'll move on then to the second character we created. This is my sniper character. As you can see from the rocket launcher on her back, she's also our explosives expert. So for her, there are three really important stats: intelligence, awareness, coordination. So the intelligence stat is important because it dictates increases your critical chance and your critical damage, and with this character we really want that. She's going to be doing a lot of critical hits, so we want to get as many as possible and we want to get as much damage out of those critical hits as possible. It also gives us extra skill points, which is handy. Plus 1 skill point every 2 intelligence. That's a one-off. It's not, you don't get extra skill points each level, it's just a one-off. So if you've put 10 points into intelligence, you're going to get another 5 skill points to use on the next screen there. Awareness dictates your hit chance and the range damage bonus, as well as your perception. So with the maxed out awareness which we've got, she's going to hit more often and she's going to do more damage when she does hit, which is what we want. And then finally there's coordination. As I said with the previous character, that just increases the number of action points you've got. It means that she can move around a little bit more, potentially look at firing and maybe reloading, or firing and you know, throwing a grenade out or something like that. It's unlikely she's going to be able to fire twice. There are ways you can sort of build your character for that, but I haven't gone for that this time. Also, once we've maxed this out, what I'm probably going to do is start putting those extra points into luck. It increases the penetration, so it's going to make it easier to go through enemies' armour, and it increases your lucky action chance, crit chance, etc. So yeah, that's a handy one. She doesn't really need the extra strength. She's not going to be throwing anything. In terms of the constitution, the health points, she shouldn't really be getting hit all that often because she's going to be right at the back. It does mean that she can't use some of the later armour, but like I say, she shouldn't be getting hit all that often, so it shouldn't be a massive problem. Speed, again, we're not going to bother with at all for her, and charisma, we're not going to bother with for her. The quirk I took for her is Sadomasochist, so she will receive 33% extra damage, but she will deal 33% extra damage. Because she's a sniper, she's at the back, she's not going to be getting hit as much as some of the other guys, so receiving that extra damage isn't as big a deal, but doing that extra damage is obviously massive, and I've seen her get some really good critical hits already, and quite often when we start combat she'll end up one-shotting one of the enemies, so straight away that's one enemy down, we've got one fewer person to deal with. And the background I chose for her is Goat Killer. Critical chance plus 5%. As I mentioned before, we want to try and get as many critical hits for her as possible, so that extra 5% helps, and it's going to stack with a lot of other things we're using as well. For example, we've got critical chance plus 25% here, so that's already plus 30%, and we can get various things on her weapons. I can't remember if I've got anything here. I haven't yet, but there's another 3% critical chance just on the helmet, so it all stacks, it's all useful. In terms of skills, 4 skills I'm looking at for her. Explosives, lockpicking, so she's going to be the one disarming traps and unlocking doors. It also means that if she's a little closer, or if there's a lot of grouped enemies, she can use the rocket launcher to blow them up instead. Sniper rifles, next skill, exactly what it says really. Yeah, the more we increase that, the better sniper rifles she's going to get, and the more she's going to be able to hit. And the last one is sneaky shit, so she can use that to disarm alarms, spot hidden objects like it says, and damage unaware enemies. And the last one's really important. A lot of the time I will start a fight by shooting someone before they know I'm there, and I will do it with her. And so if I'm using her for that, at level 4 as I've got it at the moment, she gets an extra 40% sneak attack damage. Now when we get to level 10, that's extra 100% sneak attack damage. I've also got an item on my gun at the moment which does another 20% sneak attack damage on top of that. So if you can get the upper hand in combat, and you're not going to be able to get it every single time, there will be times when the enemy's going to get a jump on you, but for the most part we should be firing first, and we're doing it with her, and we're hoping that that's going to mean a kill as soon as we jump into combat. In terms of the armour, I'm currently using the tactical armour for most of my squad actually. I've also got the Law rocket launcher equipped as secondary on her. Don't use it that often, tends to be the sniper rifle for her, but occasionally I will use it, and I have picked up some of the perks for that as well. So looking at the perks then, sniper rifles perk mark target doesn't do any damage, but it reduces enemies' evasion by 15%, and mark targets also take plus 50% damage from precision strikes, and that's from anyone in your squad. It's really handy on some of the bigger, tougher enemies, especially if you've got some of the precision strikes saved up. Next skill on the sniper rifles tree is Masterful Precision, and precision strikes with sniper rifles have significantly higher chances of inflicting critical effects. So there'll be certain enemies in the game where you can target various parts of them. So for example, I've just done the Warrens, and in there are quite a few enemies with flamethrowers. Now if you target the flame tank on their back, it's got a chance of exploding the flame tank and obviously killing them, but damaging people around them. with the sniper rifle perk that I've got here, that chance will be much higher if she's the one firing that shot as opposed to any of my other characters. So it's a useful one to have there. For explosives, I've got the duck and cover, so extra fire resistance, extra explosive resistance. As I recall, I picked that one just because I couldn't pick any of the ones at the moment, and I figured it would be useful for a little bit extra survivability. We've also got Mortar Blast, so we can target an area with the rocket launcher and fire it into the air. The next turn the rocket's going to come down and do plus 100% damage. So not something we use often, because we don't want to use it unless there's a lot of enemies clustered around, but it can be useful in certain circumstances. And then high impact, so targets directly hit by rockets or grenades are automatic critical hits. So like I said before, we're normally going to start combat with her. If we start combat, if there's a lot of enemies clustered together and we fire a rocket, everyone hit by that rocket is going to be critical hit. I did this earlier on my last stream, and I think I killed 3 of the 6 enemies in the first blast before any of my other characters had even taken their turn, so it's really handy there. So moving on to my next character. So he is a submachine gun user, so he's the 3rd ranger that I created. So when you finish the prologue, you get back to Ranger HQ, you can then create another 2 rangers to join your party. So with him being a submachine gun character, 2 major traits for him really: coordination for the extra skill points and awareness for the extra hit chance and range damage bonus. I'm going to put some points into strength now, just so he can use some of the heavier armour, because he has to be quite close to the enemy. Submachine guns don't have an amazing range, so chances are he's going to be getting hit a lot. In terms of quirks, serial killer just like my shotgun user, and then I also took Raider Hater, so he does an extra 10% bonus damage to humans. A lot of the people we're fighting are humans, so that extra 10% is handy. In terms of his skills, he is our resident computer expert, so nerd stuff, weird science, as well as automatic weapons and some points in barter, but for the most part we're letting another character pick up that role. So in terms of nerd stuff, it lets us hack computers and turn hostile robots to our side. Haven't fought many robots just yet, but we will be doing later on in the game, and it can be useful to try and hack one of them, partly to damage the enemies, but also partly so that it distracts the enemy's attention away from us. Weird science does extra damage, extra energy damage, and as you can see on his back he's got an energy weapon there, and it lets us use certain items which require the weird science skill, and there are a few of those. I've got some armour actually that I'll be putting on the Chemtech armour, which is really nice armour. I can't use it yet because I don't have the strength skill for that, but I will be using that as soon as I get that skill increased. Then automatic weapons, so this governs the assault rifle and the submachine gun. We're using submachine gun because I find that the assault rifle, while it is better than the submachine gun at the start of the game, it seems to plateau quite quickly, whereas the submachine gun gets better and better. So I just thought I'd start off with the submachine gun rather than switching partway through. And then the barter skill, like I say, I've actually got this skill on Lucia as well, and I'm increasing it on her, so I'm probably not going to bother with it on this guy for the rest of it. In terms of perks, go for Hunter, so enemies have 25% less benefit from cover when attacking them. Spray and Pray, so tears up an enemy with twice as many SMG bullets as your normal attack, but has minus 25% hit chance, so can be useful if we're quite close to them. If the hit chance is very high, it's something we could potentially use then. I also took the barter ability, I think that was quite early on, for Penny Pincher. Buying multiple items instead of just one provides a 20% discount. We have had to buy quite a lot of ammo, first aid kits, things like that, so we're buying more than one, we get a bit of a discount on that, which is handy. I haven't taken any of the nerd stuff abilities. I may do in the future, but I haven't just yet. And in terms of weird science, I've taken the microwave research ability, so perk. So energy damage is increased by 0.5 bonus damage for every point of armor the target has. The more armor they've got, the more extra damage we're going to do. It's not going to be a huge amount, but it all adds up. In terms of how he's kitted out, again, tactical armor. As I say, I will be switching him for that later on. I just don't have the strength for that just yet. Using the Tommy gun at the moment, he'll be switching over to a new submachine gun shortly, and I've got the frozen ferret launcher equipped at the moment, but again I'll switch over to another energy gun once I get one. So it brings us on to the last of the rangers that we created. So this one's a heavy gunner. The main attributes for her: awareness, definitely. The heavy guns don't have a great hit chance, so anything we can do to increase that is fantastic. So I've maxed that out as soon as possible. Heavy guns take a lot of AP to use, so increasing the action points on there as well just means we can move around a little bit more and then shoot. It just gives a little bit more flexibility there. Once I've maxed that out, again I'm probably going to be putting the excess points into strength so that she's got a bit better armour. Heavy guns have a reasonable range, but she tends to take a bit of damage, so if I can have better armour, more survivability, she can do more damage. And exactly the same as the previous character, sadomasochist for the quirk, and raider hater for the background. Oh sorry, he's got serial killer, my bad. So yeah, took sadomasochist for her. The heavy guns can do quite a lot of damage, so that extra damage is helpful. Does mean she receives a lot more. She has gone down in combat a few times, but she's got plenty of kills as well, so she's definitely pulling her weight. Skills for her, we've got a few here, but I'm really focusing on the top 4. Big gun's the main one. Governs the hit chance, which we need to increase as much as possible, and also which guns she can use. Toaster repair, there are many toasters throughout the world that give us all manner of weird and wonderful loot drops when we repair them, so she will be maxing out eventually. An animal whisperer, which lets us tame companions, animal companions. I've also taken armour modding, which I will be increasing later on, just to install better mods in the armour. It's not as crucial at the moment because my guys have been changing armour quite regularly, but as we get towards the upper tier of armour, we want to use it for a lot longer, or potentially till the end of the game. We need to make sure we've got the best mods installed in that. And in terms of perks for her, so I've taken a couple from the non-skill perks, so extra armour, just for the extra survivability, extra constitution, again for the survivability. In terms of big guns, she's using a heavy machine gun, so not a flamethrower. So I've got suppressing fire, heavy machine gun attack that consumes twice as many bullets. Enemies in the area take minor damage and are suppressed, losing 0.8 combat speed and minus 20% hit chance for 2 turns. It deals 300% extra damage versus demoralised targets. I'll probably be taking these two as well later on in the game. The plus 20% evasion and plus 10% hit chance in low cover when using a heavy machine gun, which would be useful. In terms of animal whisperer, I've just taken the first one, as animal companions gain a bonus constitution and damage. So the animal companions I've got will just, well, the animal companion linked to her will do more damage and be able to take more damage. And that's all I've taken for her so far. Later on I will probably take this for the extra armour, but it depends what we've got available. In terms of her setup, she's wearing the trooper armour, got the toaster repairman's badge equipped there, light squad weapon for her, and I've also equipped her with an argon lance, so if I come across any robots or anything mechanical, she can still do a lot of damage to them there. So we'll head over to Marshal Kwon. So Marshal Kwon is the first companion character you can get. So he comes already pre-built. We can't sort of respec and change these. He doesn't get a quirk. So what I've done with him is I've put straight away maxed out his coordination, so you get the extra action points, means you can shoot more times per turn, you can move further. I'm now putting extra points into awareness to increase its hit chance and his range damage bonus, and then the remaining points probably going to go into strength so that he can use better armor. So for his background, like I said, we didn't get to choose that, but he's got Peacekeeper, which gives him plus 30% initiative. Initiative is not massively important in this game compared to the previous ones, because your entire side moves at the same time. So we get a turn, then the enemy gets a turn, and in our turn we can move all of our characters. You only really need to have sort of one character with a decent initiative, and that's it. So it's not something I've really bothered with. In terms of his skills, he starts with these 3, and I've just been increasing them. Well, these main 2 really, because I've got sneaker shit on my sniper. So automatic weapons and a kiss ass. Kiss ass helps with some of the speech checks, and automatic weapons just for the better guns and the better hit chance. And for his perks, he's generally on the front line, so I've given him extra armor there. And as you can see, he's got a lot of the perks from the automatic weapons tree. So puncturing shot, which fires an assault rifle attack that punctures through multiple enemies, hitting anyone in its path. Deals plus 100% damage versus stunned targets, and it can apply damaged armor. Go for Hunter, which we've seen before. Enemies have 25% less benefit from cover when attacking them. Reckless, gain 15% extra damage with submachine guns while not in cover. And Stormer, so if you move more than 5 spaces, your next submachine gun attack costs no AP, and that can happen once per turn. So when you first get Marshal Kwon, he's got an assault rifle, and I kept him with the assault rifle until very recently, and then after I finished the Bazaar I've switched him over to submachine gun, because as I said earlier, I find the submachine guns are much better sort of early to mid game through to the rest of the game. So he's going to be using that, and having this Stormer ability means that he can move a fair distance, fair number of spaces, and then still get an attack in for 0 AP, and then hopefully another one, depending on how much AP he's got left. In terms of his setup, he's using the Radtech armor, and for some reason the Merc helmet. I'm not sure I had him with the Radtech helmet, but it's not a problem. So the Radtech armor requires strength 4, so only a couple of my guys have got that. When I first got the Radtech armor, he was the only one who had that, so I equipped it on him. He's currently equipped with a pulse gun because I was fighting a couple of turrets, and then the lead sprayer submachine gun for him. So our last character then is Lucia. Again, much like Marshal Kwon, she comes to us quite early in the game. She's already pre-built, so you can't choose her stat spread. So for her, I've gone with awareness to increase her range damage bonus and a hit chance. She can hit quite hard with the revolver weapons. I'm now increasing her coordination to get the extra action points, so she can fire more often, move further, and then I'll be giving her a bit of extra strength for the extra armor, because again she's one of our frontline characters. She doesn't get a quirk. In terms of her background, strike rate plus 5%. So what that means, I'll just close this for a sec, is she gains sort of a charge for the precision strike ability faster. The precision strike is really handy. When we use this, it lets us target specific parts of the body, and it does a lot extra damage. So yeah, really useful one to have. In terms of her skills, this is what she comes with. I haven't added any additional ones. I've focused on small arms so she can use better weapons and get a better hit chance. I've also increased weapon modding a lot so she can add mods to the various weapons for the team, and I'm increasing barter as well. I've got 2 characters who've got survival. It can be useful on the world map to avoid world map encounters. I've not actually had any yet, but I'm just about to head over to Denver in my game now, so I'm sure I will get some in the very near future. So I'll be increasing definitely these 3, and then probably this one on Lucia as well. In terms of Lucia's perks, as you can see, 1 in weapon modding just increases the amount of ammo, bonus ammo that we find, but the majority are in the small arms tree here. So strike meter charges a bonus 5% with each successful handgun attack, so we've already got 5% from her gunslinger background, so we get an additional 5% here. Trick shot, so this fires a handgun attack that has a minus 50% hit chance. If the attack hits, you get an instant plus 3 AP and your strike meter is instantly filled, and it deals plus 100% damage versus marked targets. So that minus 50% hit chance is big, but there'll be times when we've got, you know, a 95% hit chance. It might be worthwhile using that to get the instantly filled strike meter. We've also got draw, so your first attack after reloading an empty weapon costs no AP. In terms of how she's kitted out, she's got a bit of a ragtag armour here, so she's wearing the Merc helmet, tactical armour, Merc leggings. I will be switching her over to the tactical armour as soon as I can. She's got 2 revolvers, the auto revolver, or auto volver, and then a phase blaster, just again so that I generally try and have a weapon on each of my characters that can damage or do decent damage against robots, vehicles and synths, so that's why she's got that. So that's how my squad is built out at the moment. We've got Animal Companion Billy and Jean, which you get from the Hoon family ranch, I believe. We've got Major Tomcat. Now I got Major Tomcat using the cigarettes you get given early on in the game, in the prologue. So I spoke to him with my sniper, because he gives her extra 6% critical chance. I believe, yeah, Zombie, who's got the Animal Companion skill, so Animal Whisperer skill, so yeah, she gets the plus 0.1 critical damage there. It's not massive, but it can be helpful. They don't do a huge amount of damage, although Billy and Jean have got a skill which can stun enemies occasionally, which is really useful. So yeah, and we've also got the clone here, who doesn't again do a huge amount of damage, but is useful for taking enemies' attention away from us onto him. Plus, if he dies, as long as you remember to scoop up the pink goo from his corpse, you can just make another one. So that is how my guys are built. If you have any questions, feel free to add them to the comments. If you want to see how they actually perform, feel free to check me out on Twitch. It's Aura1, and I'll be streaming my entire playthrough on Supreme Jerk. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Bye.